Greetings. Welcome to Robin's Book Club, episode 56, William Egglestone's Guide. There are affiliate links in the description to this video below. If you would like to purchase a copy of this book or support the channel, then that would be a great thing to do. You can also buy me a coffee with a link below, which a few people have done, and I'm incredibly grateful for that, as it helps fund, is it an addiction? It probably is, isn't it? This addiction of buying photography-related books. It is my birthday coming up in 10 days' time, as it happens. And this one I decided was like a little birthday treat to myself, because William Egglestone is a photographer who is right at the forefront of colour photography, and this is really a seminal work in that regard, and is highly influential today. I would say that there are many photographs in this book which you could look at and you would think that they were going to be hashtagged banal photography on Instagram or hashtag new topographics, and they would be shot in Portra 400 or whatever it is that people, is it Portra 400 that people like to use, and overexpose and have no shadows. It's, we have some influence, we have some inspiration, we have perhaps a starting point here for many photographers. And that in itself, I say some of those things slightly facetiously, it is no bad thing. This book, it came today, and I'm absolutely delighted by it. The price was not too bad. I think it had a little bit off, and I think the RRP is about £28, and it was 30% off or something from that. So it was a very good price. And I just think the photo on the front is iconic, isn't it? That is one which, if you had to say, describe one of William Egglestone's photographs, that's the one I think that everybody would kind of know and would be drawn to. However, the book is full of, I think, quite amazing photographs. Definitely what I find interesting is that it's the sort of photography that 10 or 15 years ago I really wouldn't have liked at all, because then I suppose I thought that photographs should be, well, I had my own ideas. And I suppose it was mainly around sort of landscape photography and that kind of stuff, things which were very beautiful to look at, beautiful scenes described beautifully by the camera. And what is interesting is that we have an introductory essay here, which is by John Szarkowski, and he has many interesting things to say. But first of all, let me tell you that this book was first published in 1976, that this is a second edition which was first published in 2002, and has since been reprinted in, check this out, 2005, 7, 10, 11, 13, 14, 16, 19, and 2021. This is a really popular book, and with good reason. I highly recommend it to you. I'm just going to try and pull out a few... so they went back and they did digital scans of all the original transparencies or slides, which is amazing. I think that really is amazing. Just a really exciting book. The essay is brilliant. I will try and pick out a few things from it. I once heard Egglestone say that the nominal subjects of his pictures were no more than a pretext for the making of colour photographs. I did not believe him, although I can believe that it might be an advantage to him to think so, or to pretend to think so. Photography is a system of visual editing. At bottom, it is a matter of surrounding with a frame a portion of one's cone of vision, while standing in the right place at the right time. There's loads of discussion about the history of photography, and then the history and the difficulties of colour photography, which is just very beautifully explained. We've got some brilliant quotes from Robert Adams, who you'll know is a photographer that I like very much as well. In practice, it works like this. The photographer cannot freely redispose the elements of his subject matter as a painter can to construct a picture that fits his prior conceptions of the subject. Instead, he discovers his subject within the possibilities proposed by his medium. If the broad landscape refuses to compose itself economically within the viewfinder's rectangle, the photographer contrives a different but consonant subject, composed perhaps of two trees and a rock. He talks about the failure of colour photography and the two different types of failure of colour photography, and I thought, yep, been there, done that. It was very astute. He describes the failures in two categories. The failure of black and white photographs made with colour film, and the second failure as being photographs of beautiful colours in pleasing relationships. Oh dear, such cutting words. So many brilliant things in this essay, and honestly I could sort of read the whole thing to you, but obviously I can't. And one final paragraph. As pictures, however, these seem to me perfect. Irreducible surrogates for the experience they pretend to record. Visual analogues for the quality of one life. Collectively, a paradigm of a private view, a view one would have thought ineffable, described here with clarity, fullness, and elegance. So, William Egglestone's guide. Thoughts? I love this picture. Is that the dog's tongue? Or is it something in the puddle? His mouth, I've never had a dog, but his mouth seems too closed. Anyway, perfect, isn't it? I just think this is really good. I love the framing. I love the focus. I love everything about that. This must very definitely be one of my favourite photographs in the book, and it's not the sort of photograph that you would set out to make yourself, I don't think. This goes back to what Szarkowski's talking about in the introductory essay about how Egglestone's work is very much about his home and his place in every kind of context and every kind of meaning of what home and place could be. This is very much an observed thing. You wouldn't set out to make a photograph like this, I don't think. This is just something that you've seen and you've decided to record, and you're looking really, well, are we back into the whole issue of colour again? I don't want to go there too much. This photograph speaks to me in the way that it is entirely contemporary and timeless. I say contemporary and timeless in the same thing. Are those things different from each other? I don't know, but do you know what I'm saying? This photograph could have been taken at any point, probably from the 60s onwards. The gent is dressed in a very kind of classical way, and the subject matter, the graveyard, I just think that is a timeless photograph. Very good indeed. This photograph actually annoys me. This is the sort of thing that I would have hated about this photography before. Nothing is straight. Okay, you chop the front of the car off. We don't see the top of the building. The top of the building is chopped off. The join between them. This is not what I like. Although there's maybe perhaps the tree behind might be straight, but it works, doesn't it? Something about the shades, something about the angles and the lines. It's intuition, isn't it? There's something about Egglestone's way of looking, his way of seeing, that actually becomes a brilliant... The telegraph pole blocks the sign. But I like it, so I don't know. And when I was talking in the introduction about, the current generation of Instagrammers with their hashtag banal and their hashtag new topographics and their no shadows and their lack of sort of very unsaturated, very pastel colours, this is the sort of view that those people would love very much indeed. But look, we have shadows, we have contrast, we have colours. Imagine. But listen, maybe they're just doing the contemporary version of the same thing, and perhaps it's all right. I don't happen to... I mean, I love the subject matter. I don't happen to like that way of showing it. But there we go. That's all there is. Anyway, William Egglestone's Guide, I think, rightly regarded as an amazing photographic book. And if you don't have it in your collection, I really think you should check it out. Add it to your collection, and I will see you again with another edition of Robin's Book Club very soon indeed. And don't forget, if you want to help me out or help out the channel, then you could use some of the links below, and that would be pretty amazing of you. So thanks ever so much, and see you next time.